All right, well, Brittany's here talking about that forecast. Yesterday, right, we had warmer weather, 75 degrees. It was a little bit different today, but we'll get sunshine again tomorrow.
Can I tell you that it still got to 75? Does that surprise
Today?
you? Yeah, with all the clouds.
Yeah.
So ahead of a cold front, we get warm southerly wind. So like we skyrocket quicker. So even though there were clouds and storms, it still got to 75.
It didn't feel that way because of the sun, maybe?
Definitely. Okay. Absolutely.
All right.
Isn't
I can
that
see
interesting?
the pollen. Yeah, it is.
I know. I just always think the weather's cool.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I didn't
of
think
course,
about that.
Pollen. We talked about this yesterday.
It's out there.
Storms, unfortunately, make this worse because they're so scattered that it actually increases the wind. So a lot of times we think, oh, rain, it's going to help, but it doesn't really all the time. It kind of depends. Widespread rain washes away pollen, but storms and the winds make it a little bit worse. So we might be suffering for at least a few days, but hopefully a small change when we see some slightly cooler air coming in this weekend. Now, unfortunately, because the winds are still elevated tomorrow and we're bringing in that dry air, it has nice implications to the forecast. You're just hanging outside, mid-60s tomorrow with sunshine, but it is going to increase our fire danger index. And this really actually does tie in a lot to Helene and those kind of leftover impacts in many areas, is that we have more dry brush and more leaves and vegetation lingering around because of Helene. And then the storms we had back in December that of course caused some flooding and some additional issues, which means more vegetation on the ground as those areas in the mountains have had a lot of impacts, even on top of Helene in the last few months. So we will certainly be watching this very closely with that elevated fire danger risk tomorrow. Speaking of the mountains, a few areas of light snow showers out there this afternoon and evening, but most of this wrapping up quickly Friday morning because the air is so dry that northwest flow is trying to produce snow, but it's just not going to be a lot. Temperatures a little bit cooler than we were this time yesterday, except for the immediate coastline, because that's where the cold front is still lingering. So they're really not feeling the chill just yet. And while it is going to be chillier heading out the door tomorrow morning, temperatures are still well above normal. Today actually marked the first day that our average high is 60, so meaning we're warming up the next few weeks. But tomorrow, even with a cool down, going from 75 today to 66. So we are still above average for this time of year. Saturday, Charlotte FC home match. I know a lot of folks expected to go to that and are really excited about that forecast. 72 with abundant sunshine. Now the second half of Saturday will turn breezy again as we track a secondary cold front, and that's why we're going to be slightly cooler, slightly drier again Sunday and Monday. But we're getting into that time of year. Saturday officially begins the month of March, and we have a third cold front coming in on Wednesday, really bringing that third cool down of this upcoming week. Remember that March and April here in the Charlotte area are really our windiest months of the year because it's also severe weather season. So we see a lot of cold fronts passing by. So you're probably going to hear that pairing of words a lot over the next few weeks. Again, the forecast though for Charlotte FC looking fantastic, mostly sunny, winds out of the southwest 10 to 15. So not really high, but also not light. So I'm sure the teams will be keeping that wind forecast in mind when they're planning their strategy, hoping for a big win for us here at home at Bank of America Stadium. Temperatures again in the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. So that's on Saturday. Again, secondary cold front comes in, bringing us that cooler air Sunday, Monday. So if you're a fan of sunshine and you're not sure if you want cool or warm to go with it, well, you get both over the next few days. We will see a slight warm up heading into Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday, our next chance for rain and thunderstorms. Now, Wednesday, an interesting day at this point because we don't often see this, but long-range forecast models look to set up a perfect situation for severe storms. It's really early, still 7 days out, but I want you to keep that in mind. Go ahead and write that on your calendar if you like to keep track of the weather in that way. And then once that passes by, we have another cold front coming in. That sets us up for mild conditions heading into the following weekend. And finally, we have daylight saving time on that 10-day forecast.